So let's talk about the data share journey. You ready for that? I'm going to give this to you now. You are now in control.
All right. That's scary.
Yes, it is. I'm here with you, son.
So when we acknowledged that we needed to go from profit share to data share, we had to have somewhere that we could actually store the data.
Yep.
Because right now, all the data was stored in different systems, Excel spreadsheets, at the market center level, but it wasn't like a centralized place. We were kind of Blockbuster, right? We were kind of like the old iPod where all my songs were my local iPod or my local computer. We had to build somewhere where it was all stored centrally. So
yeah, we had the Moore system. It collected the data, but it left it locally. The only thing it sent was a transmittal that sends a certain data set that we needed in order to run our profit share program for you.
Absolutely, and in fact, that if you remember back in the late 80s, early 90s, the cost of RAM and hard drive space was actually really expensive. And so the data that's actually sent is only the data needed to calculate profit share.
Yeah.
Because that's what it was built for.
Yeah.
And so we had to go rebuild that, and we had to build Keller Cloud. And
so what's the Keller Cloud?
Well, Keller Cloud is
because I can go get a cloud service from Amazon. I can get one. I mean, right? I mean,
you can.
EXP says, hey, we have this great, amazing cloud service. We use Google Cloud service.
That's right.
That's hosting.
The difference with Keller Cloud is we actually are building a proprietary real estate smart cloud platform.
So an example of that would be if you went to Siri and you said, tell me the open houses. Yeah, there's an example. Open houses today. It wouldn't know what open house is.
Yeah, absolutely. If you say, show me the open houses I can go see right now, Siri, it might show you what businesses are open with the name house in it.
And this is the challenge for why Siri and Alexa and Google Home or whatever are still essentially dumb. They're trying to be, they want to be the AI for everything. And the problem is their cloud service doesn't know enough, doesn't recognize the lingo, right? So if you think about in the future, you're going to have cloud-based services that are specifically designed around industries, right? Or major businesses, when you even see ads today for cloud services on TV, which is a little odd, but it says we will customize and design. That's kind of what they're talking about, and that is we will build a cloud, we'll give you the generic one, or we'll build an industry or business specific cloud service for you that will make you smart. Yes?
Absolutely, and
okay.
you're going to see winners and losers in each category.
So how long does it take to build a cloud service for the real estate industry that could actually service it well?
Oh man, so if you have the advantage we had by starting with a win more system
and the data
the
ability to just convert it and get the data,
that's a minimum a 2-year journey, minimum.
So if you don't have a cloud-based real estate-based cloud service today, you're too late to the game. You already missed the game. If we didn't have that today, we wouldn't be up here. The new owners of Keller Williams would be up here telling you what we were going to do now. You'd have fired me. You should have, right? The trick is we didn't do that. So we did do that. We did it, right? The truth of the matter though is that if you look, and I don't pick it on people, but a lot of RE/MAX franchisees still handwrite in their data to the home office. Think about that. And then you look at a rheology and they say, we hired a tech guy. And you're going, good. You don't even use the same systems. What are you going to do tomorrow? You don't even have the legal right to make your franchisees get rid of their independent systems and use yours. What does that journey look like for them? You can say it, hopeless.
Yeah. They're Ask Jeeves in the Google journey. I mean, that's the reality of it.
And they're behind. If you don't have a sophisticated real estate-based cloud service today, you can't even play the game that we're fixing to play.
And we've seen this with other, you don't see any, you have Siri, you have Alexa, you have Google. There's really no other AI being deployed because if you weren't in that game at that time, they're exponentially too far ahead of you.
Right, so in 2016, we started building this. All of last year, the number one thing that we got right was starting to build this, okay?
The thing that we required, though, in that interdependent relationship is trust, because when we announced that we were a technology company, for a whole year, there wasn't a lot of technology coming out. And it was because we were building that infrastructure, that platform, and we know, I mean, that's frustrating. And so in that relationship, the other side of that coin was trust.
Yes.
And we know that once we have the place to store the data, we needed to be able to build the engine that allowed us to run the market center with the best insights. And that was CloudMore and Connect.
Now, CloudMore isn't new. We actually started that over a year ago, and we deployed that outside of the United States in 22 countries.
Yes. Our global partners, our worldwide partners, such as Portugal and France and South Africa, have been awesome. And they've actually been pioneering this space for us. So imagine a world where there's no transmittal. Imagine a world where there's no double data entry. Our partners there are actually labbing this across the planet, and we've done multiple months that way.
And the interesting thing is, successfully, and thank goodness for our global partners, but here's the interesting thing, Steve. The earth moved and no one knew it. In all your years of real estate, you ever heard of an international real estate company where they transmitted all the data? No, he shook his head no, by the way. No, it never happened. Never happened. Silence. Yeah. And by the way, one of the things about our company that you're going to have to just get comfortable with, we see no value in bragging about what we do, and we see no value in telling people what we're fixing to do. That would be like opening up the playbook and letting the other football team read about your plays and study it before you go compete with them. We see no value in that. Maybe not make you feel as good that you don't get to brag, but it's kind of dumb. So we don't really talk about it a whole lot because we don't need to talk about it.
And the people and we have U.S. market center.
We're not driving stock price.
That's right. We're not selling stocks.
We're not selling stocks.
The one thing, though, that in this lab process with our global partners and with the U.S. market centers that have helped us is they had to actually lab it, use it, be patient with us, and improve it.
Yep.
So this wasn't us sitting back and designing and saying, you'll love this. This was us actually putting together a screen that they've assembled, them banging on it, breaking it, and us going, awesome, let's improve this together.
Yep. You're talking about the lab process, which is on Gary's t-shirt. We all are wearing some sort of gear here.
Yep.
Just what exactly is a lab? Because that's required pretty much across the board now.
Yeah. Yep. So the labs, I'll tell you what it is from a process perspective, then I'll kind of tell you what it represents. Lab is a 5-step process that allows us to start at a business problem, invite our regional leadership, our market center leadership, our agents to come with us on a journey from ideation to incubation, all the way to releasing it to people to bang on it, break it, and improve it with us. And what it really is it's a promise that says we'll never stand on stage again, make a big promise, shoot fireworks and say, look at the greatest technology we've ever built, but instead say, this is what we heard you say. Did we get it right? Break it with us, and let's go on this partnership together to change the world.
Yeah,
so who's designing the software?
100.
They are.
100% of everything we're going to walk through
today,
agents designed.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was Neil on your team that gave us a book and said, you need to read this book. And we read the book. I didn't like that process, but the process that you guys invented from that works for us.
And we totally took that spirit and copied what you guys do with MREA, which is we lab. One little side note, just for anyone who's curious, in the last 3 months of 2017, we had over 3,000 individuals come and partake in a lab process, representing over $50 billion in volume. And you were part of every one of those all the time. So this is collectively all of us doing this together.
Yep.
Which leads us to the agent. And
I am kind of curious where all the other chairmen of all our competitors were. I know where I was.
I know where you were.
You know where I was.
Yes.
I was in a lab. If you were in the labs, you saw me.
We then had to get to the place where we knew that we needed to build an operating system for agents to run their business. And they need to be able to run their business with the most possible insights so that at every buyer consultation, listing presentation, they are the smartest local expert using our collective intelligence.
Let me make a statement. You see the word virtual up there? So understand from our perspective, we have to be digitally based and physically enhanced, meaning that we have to imagine that the way the market center of the future operates is 100% digitally. That whatever the market center physically is today most likely morphs over time as we begin to understand what exactly is the physical requirement in a digitally based market center. And by the way, the same with the agent. Through Connect and Command, we fully expect the real estate agent to be 100% digital and then find out, well, what do you need physically to do your business when everything can be done between you and the consumer and you and the market center can all be done digitally.
We then know that we have to build a best-in-class consumer experience. We know that right now, KW.com, our mobile app, agent sites aren't cutting edge.
No, they're just average.
And we've got to change that.
They have the data, they don't have the experience. The problem that we have is that we have to respect our partnerships. We have to respect those through the contracts that we've signed, and we're honorable people, and we do that. The problem is they have a challenge. They can either partner with us to imagine the new consumer experience, or at some point we part ways. And we're going to give everyone that opportunity to play with us. Some have already opted out and said we're just not interested in that. That's okay.
Every single company that you've mentioned today, we are in dialogues with, and the line in the sand is being drawn, and we're either going to have partners or competitors, and there's nowhere in the middle.
Yeah, on the virtual consumer, we'll get to it later. Yep, that's exactly right. Lines in the sand. We have to own the data.
That's right.
We have to own the data, and we have to own the software. And if anyone says no to us on those two things, we pick up our stuff and we walk out of the room. We're done with it.
The next thing we had to do, though, is once we have a platform, one of the biggest flaws you'll see with platforms that die an early death are the lack of innovation. And so we knew that we can't be the inventors of all great ideas and technology. And so we need innovators to come partner with us so they don't disrupt us. And so we think of BlackBerry and iPhone. So imagine back in time before the Apple iPhone, everyone's got a BlackBerry. They change mobile, right? Mobility with the BlackBerry is amazing. It went from the snake game to actually a production on my phone, and that was BlackBerry. And everyone had a BlackBerry. The president had a BlackBerry. Everyone had a BlackBerry. But they had one problem. Everything on the BlackBerry they built. Apple said, well, we're only going to have 2 or 3 things on an iPhone, and then we're going to let anyone build on top of it. And then as more people use the iPhone, more innovators were encouraged to come innovate with Apple.
Right.
Fast forward, nobody has a BlackBerry. And we know that, and we want to take a play of that playbook. Now, here's the challenge. The flip side of that is how valuable is the innovation platform of Apple if only 2 people in the world have an iPhone?
It's not.
No, you're like the Microsoft phone platform. Right? And the truth of the matter is that we need to work together. When we use Keller Cloud in our platform becomes more valuable to innovators who come partner with us.
And let me tell you again, we're not asking you to partner in something that we design and we build and we say take it or leave it. What we're telling you is that we have created a system of partnership with you so that everything we do is simply a reflection of what we're being told to build. Everything we're going to show you today, things you're going to see throughout this family reunion, this is all lab stuff. We didn't actually invent any of it. We had an idea, we stood it up, we go into the lab, we start asking the question, and the first series of labs, they're actually brainstorming what it should do. Then we go and we build that. Then we go back to the labs with new people, some the same, a lot of new, and we say, okay, now the other lab told us to do it, here's what we've done.
How they do.
Mm-hmm. And by the way, we pass around sheets of paper that have little iPhone on it, right? And we say, design it. How would it actually work, right? And they work in the labs of drawing the pictures, and then they make their presentations. We take all of that and we go back and we build. And that's what we're doing.
Details, guys. Like we have 4-hour debates around the wording of a button, right? And then these are awesome, passionate conversations.
Because it matters.
It does. It does.
Oh, yeah.
What you're seeing here, this is the playbook of any modern real estate company that will be relevant in the near future, in the next several months. They will all do a version of this. They'll have to be relevant.
Here's the problem is that this is moving so fast that if you're just now watching this, if you were a competitor and you hadn't built the cloud, you hadn't set all this up, you didn't have all this in,
I think we should build a search engine that can search the entire internet. I mean, that's kind of where you are in that journey. Like if we are now having to build the products on top of it.
Yeah, and understand this, Keller Williams had its own CRM. We built one and it worked. We also built our own national search engine, right? And we actually deployed it nationally, folks, and it worked. Problem is it broke one time. And I looked up, and Keller Williams was really just getting launched, and I didn't have the money, and I didn't want outsiders. And so I looked up and I went, you know what? It's going to take 20 years for this to I don't know if you guys who were here, if you even know that, but I stood up and said the bad news is we're going to shut it down because I can't do 2 things and all the money has to go here. The good news is it's going to take a long time for this to show up, okay? Yeah. We have a history of getting it and doing it. You just don't realize it.
The next 2 things that we're going to do, I believe, and I think we're all excited, is going to differentiate us from everyone else.
One last thing. I did go to venture capitalists twice to get money, the largest in Austin, one of the largest in the United States, and they turned me down both times. You want to know why? They would only give money if I wanted to disrupt the real estate agent. Every time, I went to them twice, and I said, here's what I want to do. And they said, we're not going to give you money unless you put the agent out of business. We're not interested. I did try to get private money for that search engine. We built it. We had the data scientists right there in the company. We had a CEO running that company. Folks, we did all that. David Tennant and I actually sat there and built it from scratch. The venture capital world would give us no money because they said there's only money in putting agents out of business. That's a fact. I said, nope, can't do that. So I shut it down. Here's the good news. We don't need their money.
Kelly and Homie are our first steps into getting into the AI game. And
our secret weapons.
That's right.
To be honest.
In fact, John Kelly and his team came up with the term, Kelly is my homie. I kind of like the ring of that. I think it's a good ring. But the idea here is that we know that there's going to be a moment in time when AI can actually help you run your agent's business, and it's going to help you be smarter about your business and allow you to have more meaningful conversations with your consumers. And we don't know exactly what that looks like in 10 years, but we know we have to be in that game now so that we can win then. Mm-hmm. That's what Kelly and Homie is.
So Kelly is the artificial intelligence, right? And we've been building Kelly now for how long?
We've been building Kelly for about a year.
Yep. So how old would you say Kelly is in human years?
Oh, Kelly I think is a really cute 2-year-old.
Yeah.
Because she can be frustrating.
So just imagine again, yes. Yeah, so just imagine again that you ran out the second you heard there was an Amazon Echo and you bought it and you put it on your counter, and what did it do? Not much, right? Okay. Kelly today does a lot more than when Amazon brought out their Echo, and the same with Siri.
And you're still texting me going, this is kind of frustrating. Yeah. And it is.
Oh, yeah. It's just, But here's the challenge is, if you want to be part of inventing technology, you're going to have to live through the frustration of it being a 1-year-old, a 2-year-old, a 3-year-old, a 4-year-old. If you want us to go keep it to ourselves until we think it's perfect, that's a loser's hand. That's dumb business. Now, that means that we're going to have a lot of dumb people in Keller Williams play with it and then text you and go, this sucks. Now, I'm just calling you out now, you're an idiot. You didn't hear a word I said, and trust us, we love you and we respect you, but we already know that. We already know that it sucks at a 2-year-old level compared to any of your technology that's 10 years old or 20 years old or whatever. We totally understand that, but we're going to have to live through this together, you guys, in order to get to the other side. We're just going to have to. It's a journey.
It's a journey.
And it's going to happen fast. So when I say live through all of this, I'm not talking about years. I'm talking about 2018. This is the year. This is going to happen right now.
With the data we can give Kelly, and with our user base, 170,000 around the world, we can make Kelly smarter faster than anyone else in the industry.
Oh yeah.
And we can, again, Google pulls away from Lycos and all the others. It happens really fast.
By the way, the interesting thing is as Josh and his team invite in all the major players in technology in and out of real estate, what's their reaction when we've laid out not only this, but showed them the actual products? Because by the way, everything on this board is already in production and has been. We've been doing this for over a year. This is not a wish board. This is not a daydreaming board. This is not a, it's coming someday board. Everything written up here already exists in some lab and has been in a lab from anywhere from what? On the long end, 2 years.
About 2 years.
2 years, and on the other hand, 90 days, 4 months, depending upon what that is. Just wanted you to understand that. This isn't a wish board. We're not daydreaming here. It already exists.
The last thing is you imagine that once we have Keller Cloud and all these initiatives, we have to be the keepers of your data, and we have to protect that. And so the last thing that I think is amazing is our data pledge.
And just breathe it in and acknowledge and understand what we're telling you. And that is, we just like with profit share, data share is the same way. You can trust us. You hired us to protect it, and that's what we're going to do.
I've been here 17 years, right?
You've known me 17 years, yes. You've worked with me.
This company is about the only company, I can't imagine another one that has any credibility if they make this pledge. The agency was launched to keep agents from being disintermediated. KWLS to protect our data, right? My listing's my lead. I mean, the story has not changed suddenly at any time.
Oh, no.
It's just evolved as we needed it.
Yeah, thank you. And the key there is we're a privately held company.
And nobody.
The buck stops on this chair right here. And I'm not sharing the data.
And your vision here, which I think is amazing, is you want this to become the standard for any company that's selling technology to a realtor.
Yes.
Should live to this standard.
Yeah, my challenge to Realty, my challenge to Remax, my challenge to EXP, which they can't keep. They've already given it up. Yeah, but my challenge to any of these companies, there's the pledge right there, right? And by the way, any off the shelf that you would want to use, if they're not willing to plug into our API, so that data, so you can use their innovation, but that data is yours, walk away, because they're revealing who they are. And some of them are going to have to walk away because they're publicly held, and they can't agree to that. And that's how you're going to find out. It will all be revealed now.
Well, anyway, those APIs at the bottom of that last screen, everybody who couples into our system, they're coupling into the data pledge.
Yes, we want innovation. The doors are open right now. Let's get started.
There'll be two partners. There'll be partners that are in the App Store or with Keller Cloud. There'll be partners that aren't in the App Store that aren't with Keller Cloud. Mm-hmm. And the ones that aren't with us, you should ask a real serious question. Why are they so hesitant to plugging into our platform that has that data pledge?
There you go. Lines drawn in the sand.
We want to give you some transparency into some of these labs.
And by the way, if they say no and they try to tell you that we don't know what we're talking about, why don't you say, let's you and I get on the phone with Gary and Josh. We will take that call. Right?
Absolutely.
Love to take that call. Let's see if they get on the phone.